Okay, folks, Poppa's House, episode 8, entitled Wig. Man, this was a wild one. 8 out of 10. Think it was solid. And no, I did not purposefully score the episode to match the episode number. It was a pretty good episode. Teaching about, the pain of loss and the healthiness of releasing your emotions, usually through, well, crying, as opposed to any sort of, I don't know, ego-driven compensation or fear. Essentially, we have an episode that's dedicated to Robert Ned, who I believe is a real-life friend of Damon Wayans. That's what I took away from the ending of the episode. And Leon was the character who Pops knew when he was younger and Junior knew when he was younger. And the thing was, Pops is kind of dealing with this in a, okay, you know what, I need to look and act younger because Leon, is around my age and Pops is 61. I think this is the first time we've gotten his canonical age in the series. And, he didn't have a wife or kids. He pretty much died alone and Pops doesn't want that. So Junior, his storyline for the episode is he was asked to read a book at Nina's school. I think like her, I don't think she's in kindergarten. Maybe she is. Basically her class. Bunch of young kids. Maybe it is kindergarten, first grade. And he sees Pops come out of the back with a wig. And oh man, that was wild. Just seeing Damon Wayans in that wig. Have I ever seen him with hair? Major Pain, he was bald. He didn't have hair in My Wife and Kids. I can't remember if he had hair in Living Color. Because sometimes, I remember he did like one stand-up special and he had a hat on. Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen him with hair. But yeah, he had the wig on. And in order to avoid dying alone, he's on this dating app called Out of My League. And Junior's like, well, I thought you and Dr. Reed was like, no. Dr. Reed got way too much baggage. I need somebody who's like, young and hip and trend. And, he's just throwing out all these words, assuming that's what the younger generation talks like. And I'm not near Pop's age, but at 33, there are definitely some words. I'm just like, when did that become a thing? Like just recently, didn't they have that whole thing with demure or whatever? I didn't know that was a thing until about a month and a half after it was a thing. Yeah, that just tells me I'm out of the loop. Urban Dictionary it is. All right, so Junior and Dr. Reed talk about the situation. And Dr. Reed, of course, has an analysis that really what Pops needs to do is just release his emotions and cry. But it turns out, that's not something Junior has ever seen his Pops do. Not to mention Leon, he was pretty much a disciplinarian in himself. And, he really didn't see him cry either. So Junior has taken that trait from his dad. So when Nina hears about this, she tries to console Junior about it. And Nina and Dr. Reed's plot point of the episode is trying to get Junior and by extension Pops to both cry. And when he comes, the funniest bit, in my opinion, is when Pops gets on the podcast with Dr. Reed. And there's all this double talk trying to avoid mentioning the wig. And then at the end of the scene where Pops is like, okay, I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. You want anything? And then he takes the headphones off and the wig comes off with it. And Dr. Reed almost bust out laughing. That was me. That was the best scene of this episode because it just it just caught me completely off guard here. So in regards to the date, I forget her name, but the actress that plays Lola, this is the girl that Pops met on the dating app. This is the same actress that played Brittany Pitts in the Paramount Plus reboot of The Game. And these two kind of hit it off, really quickly. It's just the fact that, Pops is ducking and dodging specific questions like exactly how old are you? Do you have kids? And, things like that. It just seems like one of those things where Pops is just saying, what he needs to say to make it through this conversation. And then he's like, hey, well, what about you, Lola? Tell me a bit about yourself. And, you know, being, well, younger, she talks about how she likes to do things like swim and go skydiving. I'm thinking all the various things that would probably give Pops a stroke because, you know, she's very active. But, you know, they pretty much hit it off quick. They start, you know, kissing at the table. And the next thing you know, Pops is, you know, just going further and further down the road of not acting his age. And the next day, you know, Junior brings it to the attention of Nina and Dr. Reed about how, look, he's up here posting twerking videos. Let me go talk to him. So he goes talk to his dad, and Pops is wearing, like, you know, skinny jeans, and he's wearing a shirt that he thought belonged to his son, but actually is Nina's shirt. He's like, think I ought to get like a belly button piercing and whatnot. And you know what? Hey, Lola, this has been the best couple of days I've had in a while, and I'm thinking about asking her to move in with me. It's like, what? It's like, what? Next, you going to marry her? Oh, thanks for your blessing, son. And then, you know, Dr. Reed is freaking out when Junior mentions the fact that I don't want my new stepmom to be younger than me. It's like, they ain't going to be no wedding. And, you know, obviously Reed is feeling Pop. So, you know, the last thing she wants is for him to get, you know, married to some random woman because he just needs to cry and cope. So they opt to watch Old Yeller on a movie night, hoping that Pops and maybe Junior will cry too. And they don't. And, you know, Maya, basically Junior and Nina's daughter, goes up to Pops, asks if he's okay. And he's like, oh, yeah, I'm fine. He's like, I just need to go get a haircut. And it's like, really, dude? So they have the idea, wait a minute, what if he's the one to read at the school instead of me? And maybe that'll be enough to make him cry, because you saw how, you know, he was when his little granddaughter came up to him and held his hand. So at the school, you know, Pops is reading Charlotte's Web, and then he gets to the point of breaking down, and then Maya comes up to him, and then Junior starts bawling, and all the kids go around to hug him because they're crying, and it was good to see that, you know, just to let all those emotions out. So then Lola is getting the rundown from Pops because they had a week of getting to know each other, and it's been great, but he has to be full on honest with her about, you know, the whole thing about the earrings and the nipple rings being fake, and, you know, I actually have, you know, kids. I mean, he said kids, but I thought Junior was his only child, unless we have another child that we'll be introduced to later on, but I don't think it really makes a lot of sense. But he mentioned, like, yeah, I have grandkids too, and Lola was all for that. It's like, oh yeah, that's okay. But then the moment he took that wig off, that's when she booked it. So then we end the episode with, you know, Pops in a tracksuit, not to, you know, regress back to the 80s, but just to honor his boy Leon. And then, you know, he and Dr. E start the podcast. And it was a really touching moment where it's like, you know what? He told a story, you know, about how Leon was one of the real ones in his life, you know, a day oneer. And I think my favorite bit is where he's like, you know, me and my boy Leon, we never told each other I love you, but it was understood, you know, because of how close we were. And he ended the podcast by, you know, saying, I love you, Leon, and devoting, you know, how to, that song, what was it, Boys to Men, so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Good episode. I thought it was a pretty solid episode. Had some good laughs in there, but, you know, just as always, serious topics about, you know, the importance of feeling your feelings, not just, you know, trying to bury them away or, you know, reject your feelings by doing things you really shouldn't. Like Pops was talking about letting this random person that he met on a dating app move in with him, and even, you know, wait a minute, marriage, that's a good idea, all because he didn't want to die alone like Leon. So that was some good stuff. So with that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, like and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next video.